thoughts are in divine order, and my passion is shining through. The light of God surrounds me, the love of God enfolds me, the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. The light of God surrounds me, the power of God protects me, the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. My life is in divine order. I'm open to whatever's mine to do. My thoughts are in divine order, and I'm ready to start anew. Oh, the light of God surrounds me, the love of God enfolds me, the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. The light of God surrounds me, the power of God protects me, the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Ooh, and all is well.
Wow. The presence of God surrounds me. My life is in divine order. My thoughts are in divine order. Everything's in divine order. And thank you, Dion, for bringing us there. And of course, Jerry, he's doing there. But we know this to be true, right? That there is divine order. And all we need is there. And why do we know that? There's only one presence. That's right. And we say that in our opening statement. There's only one presence, one power, and one activity. And what is that one presence, one power, and one activity? God, the good, omnipotent. And when we remember this, it is such a gift. But do we always remember it? Or do we just get all caught up out there and we forget the biggest treasure we have? And then, as we bring to mind and say our prayer for our church, we think about our church mission, which is to love the soul, to light the mind, to lift the heart, and to heal the body. So if you'll say our prayer for our church together, bless the work of our church, O Lord. Let our ideals be true. Let our efforts be helpful. Let our words be filled with healing. Let our attitude be joyful. Let the stranger find true welcome and remain as friend. For the Father draws his beloved to this place in his name. Let love and understanding among all people establish peace in our world. Father, Mother, God, we thank you. And let's take a moment as we bring into our minds and our hearts the vision of one or two other people whom we want to hold in this light of prayer. We don't foresee what their outcome will be because we know everyone has their own human and spiritual journey. But we do envision, as their light gets brighter and brighter, that even they see all they need and all they want is already present. So together, as we say prayer for others, as I behold the Christ in you, I see you happy, healthy, prosperous, loving, and beloved, going forth joyously to meet your good and to share your light. And now we will be singing our hymn, which is on the back of yellow, cream colored, with our beloved Kia. And
God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. God is everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God is everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. And God is everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. And God is everything. Source. Love. Love is my power. And love is everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. And love is everything. Now joy. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. And joy is everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Now peace I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. And peace is everything I need. So everything. God is my source. God is my power. And God is everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Yes, God is everything I need. And God is everything I need. Yes, God is everything I need. All right.
thank you. It's a little chilly in here, but not when we have that sort of spirit and singing that we've got, right? So we got to get into the movement. So I am Stephanie Bush-Mann, and I am the licensed Unity teacher for our church here, Unity Church of Christ. And I am so happy to be able to come here today and share the lesson with you. Reverend Rebecca's just taking a bit of R&R, which she so rightfully deserves. And so we're very grateful that she is taking care of herself, self-care. How many of you practice self-care as you need to do? That's wonderful. We have 2 people who did, right? Yes, yes, yes. I always think about doing it and say I should do it, but I'll get better. But excellent, excellent. And I do see we have some people who are visiting us for the first time. Am I right? Welcome. Hello. It's so good to have you here. And our usher is giving to you, if he's not, our little welcome book. And so what you'll see within there, you have a little guest sticker there, but also within there is a daily word, and Unity's been known very much by its daily word for more than 100 years now. And within there, you'll have like a saying, an affirmation, a scripture, and something to read for each day. And so you'll have one that is up to date and should be for a few months, and then also a welcome and some insights into what Unity is, etc. There's a card that you can fill out, and if you give it to the usher, we'll also be able to put you on our mailing list. And for anyone, even our beloveds who are joining us virtually for the first time, if you reach out to the church and let us know your email address, you'll be on our e-blast. And with that, you get to know about all the announcements, as well as have the links available for being able to connect to classes and such. But welcome, we're so happy to have you here today. And then also now we have a few announcements. So first of all, there is the Daily Word for January and February 2026, which are available on a rolling book cart out in the narthex, which is right out there, and available for $10. And then also starting January 20th, Monday, January 20th, which will be not this week, but next week, our Reverend Laurel is going to begin a course on the 21-day quantum living process. And there's a good description in there. They'll be on several Mondays at 6:30 p.m. or on Thursdays, which will be starting in February. And that'll be at 1:30, so giving you alternate times to be able to do that. It's a really good program looking at shadow work. And for those of you who may be a little less familiar with shadow work, it's really about getting into ourselves. You know, oftentimes we may have some things that are still following us around that we don't know about, and we need to become self-aware and do the work. And so if you are interested, there is a information for getting more information about actually what the quantum living process is, and you can register by signing up in the narthex or calling the church. And we also, on Sunday, February 1st, will be having our first hug meeting, which is Hearts United in Growth. And this is going to be a way where we come together just as a church to share our thoughts, our ideas after service, directly after service, a way to really begin to, not just when we have church meetings, but, you know, it's really like that. It's a hug, you know, it's like families come together, you pick up the phone, you talk with people. And so in this way, we'll be coming together and doing that. And then our own Angelo is having sound healing sessions, and there's information there for being able to connect with it. Then we also have two ongoing ministries. One of them is when we collect toiletries and such for people, but then also one close to my heart is the Critter Corner, which is outside near the front door. And there we collect food, toys, towels, blankets for any sort of critter. And so what we then do is we give them to animal shelters or even to individuals who may need help. They may be fostering or they may own a pet, but we share all of that. So always good. If you get on our e-blast, you will be able to get really detailed information and to see how you can sign up. So with that, I'm going to invite Kathy up for our daily word.
Good morning. Today's daily word is divine order, which comes from Tuesday, May 6, 2025. And our affirmation is, I align my steps with divine order and know peace. This can be found on the inside cover of the bulletin so that we may say it together. I align my steps with divine order and know peace. Feeling out of step with divine order may leave me feeling scattered, unable to focus, and even unsure how to get started on an important project or goal. The best way to begin any endeavor is to pause and affirm divine order. Order is one of my spiritual gifts, an eternal, changeless truth. I see it in the rhythms of nature, in tides, phases of the moon, and the transition of the seasons. If the world operates in this way, it makes sense that my life does too. I need to pray for order. I need only align myself with the order that already is. I relax, I quiet my mind, I affirm. My life is in perfect order. I prayerfully discern my next steps and trust the blessing of divine order. Our Bible verse is from Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. For surely I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for your welfare, not for harm, to give you a future with hope. Let's say our affirmation again together. I align my steps with divine order and know peace.
Thank you. Divine order. How many of you have heard yourself say, it'll happen in divine order, it happened in divine order, or divine order? Any of you? Yeah. What is divine order? And how do I know if something is happening in divine order, or if really what I'm hearing and thinking is my personal desire? You ever get it confused? You ever want to, I see a cute little puppy in the back. What's his name? I'm sorry, I love critters more than people. Teddy, hello. And I'm sure we gave a treat to Teddy, Mr. Usher, did we? Thank you. Okay. So getting back, that was divine order too, because I'm going to speak to Teddy. Okay. But we look at divine order, and how do we tell the difference? How do you tell the difference if something is happening in divine order or if it's really my personal desire that's leading and pushing me? How do you tell? Yeah, go on. We're family here.
You can tell when it's really coming from your heart, soul.
Okay.
And it's not futile or anything like that. It's something that only God can give you.
So for those who are looking as virtually, says you can tell when it's coming from your heart, soul. It's something that only God can give you, and it's not all over the place. Thank you. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, and oftentimes I will ask myself, or I will tell myself in divine order. And it can be difficult to distinguish unless I stop and sit and listen. Many times often, I'm sure all of us may want to change a job, right? Maybe get into or get out of a relationship. It could be maybe wanting to move someplace. Any number of things. And we wonder, is it just my desire or is it in divine order? Now, is having personal desire a bad thing? No. And sometimes it is that voice that lets you know there's something you need to be doing. So once we hear this voice, though, to determine what we should do and when to do it, we oftentimes, if you're like me, start writing out lists, start doing this. I got my plan, I'm going here, I'm going to do it. And I may feel a sense of urgency, right? Say particularly if you're thinking about leaving a job, right? You've made your mind up, I want to get out of here. So you start feeling, I gotta go, I gotta leave, everything is bad here now. And I want this job, it looks perfect. And you start running there and you may or may not get it. And then you do get it and you think, wasn't exactly what I wanted, but what did it say, jump from the frying pan into the fire? Or you keep applying and going, you get the no, and you start feeling really stressed. And part of what I do is as coaching, professional coaching. And I've had clients who have decided that they want to move forward in their career in a different job. And many times we'll discuss and they'll say, we'll do it. They're saying it'll happen in divine order. And so, apply for a job. And, I always suggest write out what you're looking for and what you're not looking for. But so often when we are really pushing in this sense of urgency and this sense of fear, we begin still when an opportunity may sort of appear on the horizon, we forget what we don't want or we start making it fit. It's almost like going in a new relationship, right? I don't want this in a relationship, but we begin to kind of soften the edges on it because we feel a sense of lack and urgency and such. And then things don't always work out. We may not get a particular job we applied for. Have you ever applied for a job you thought you really, really wanted because you're trying to leave someplace, and then you don't get it, and then you'd be like, I'm glad I didn't, you know? I think that may be divine order. I know that is divine order. And we keep going. And oftentimes, though, if we just stop and go within to the divinity and the connection of our oneness with God, Spirit, whatever name or no name you choose for that highest energy, that creative energy that always was, is, and will be and acts through us. The biggest gift we have that we so often ignore, if we just stop and go within that space and that sacred place, the answers come. Almost as if, well, they were always there, but we were so busy, they couldn't be revealed to us. You know, I think of times when, as an attorney, had clients who were wanting to buy a house. Nice couple, they wanted to buy a house and they were pushing and going to get it, came to me with a contract. And I looked at it, you know, and because everybody has their own journey, and I've learned that, and I looked, but I could tell that they were going to be like really stretching to pay that mortgage. Not just for the first month, but for the next, 5, 10, 20, 30 years? Stretching. But they wanted. Then they had the home inspection, and the deal fell through. And they were disappointed, and I said, you know, there'll be others. So a few months later, they came back with another contract of sale. And with this contract, property was in bad shape, but they were like in their mind that, you know, this will be okay, this will be okay. And this was going to be their first home. So you know how that can be. I see some smiles here like and nods, right? And it fell through. But at this point, I told them, I said, just breathe. Your perfect home will show up. And it was about 3 months later, they came with a contract for a really nice home in a really convenient, nice location, and the house was in good shape. And I was even able to help them get some first-time home assistant money for the closing, and they closed. Everything went well. And to me, that was divine order. But they had to stop, and they had to wait. So I love, even with Jeremiah that was read in our daily word, Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For surely I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for your welfare and not for harm, to give you a future with hope. Now, for those of you who may be somewhat new to Unity, we are Christian-based, so we read the Bible. We read it as this was in a literal sense, where we look at how it was written and by whom in the historical context. But then we also like to look at it in a way of what are some of the symbolic meanings within the words that we could use in order to take the lessons in our daily life. Unity was co-founded by Myrtle and Charles Fillmore. And so it's called metaphysically looking at the Bible. It's called spiritual interpretation, because I know metaphysics, people's eyes can sometimes cloud over. They're like, what the devil? You know, but it's sort of like, I see like Star Wars, you know, they'll be talking, but there's another hidden meaning and you can take it and go. And it's really pretty fun. So I like to look at it, the Bible now, with renewed awakening to see what does it mean for things I can use in my daily life. So when we look at that, when he says, for truly I know the plans. Well, plans are like divine mind, divine ideas, and our spiritual potential that we all have. And plans for your welfare, for our wholeness, our harmony, and our well-being, which already exists. It's just oftentimes we're not aware of it because we're 100% human and we're 100% spiritual. So our human part is always getting all of its cues and information from our, what we call sense consciousness, our five senses and all that's going on outside. Whereas with our spiritual selves, it's when we're going inside to our oneness with God, Spirit, and our own divinity. And so we know that within ourselves, we are whole. In many ways, though, that we may not manifest that wholeness on the outside is because we've been so focused on the outside and not that light and spirit we have within. And when it says not for your harm, it means divine order does not operate through fear. That is so important to remember, because if we are trying to do something or make plans or take action, and we're doing it from a sense of fear, we're doing it from a sense of lack, is that going to work for us? No, no. Because remember, we said in our statement, there's only one presence, there's only one power, and that's God, and that's good. So if we're coming from lack or anything of that sort, we're going to be blinded. But when we remember who we truly are and release all of that, then we can begin to hear. We can begin to hear. And that future with hope is about the unfoldment, the possibility, the expansion. In some of the reading I've been doing, particularly by an author named Lanyon, it's like everything we need, you know, we're saying we're growing in consciousness, that actually we're revealing our consciousness to ourselves. It's always been there. It's just, have we stopped to see it? But just knowing. You know, I think about another example, because I love that when you get an idea of talking about something or sharing it, that all of a sudden, you know, when your consciousness opens up, it seems like everything comes in. So many stories and such. So I was speaking with someone, and I won't identify him other than he's my husband. But I did say, could I share it, right? And, but we were talking, I said, you know, divine order. And so I was talking about just a few things I've seen in my life that all of a sudden things open up when you just, your consciousness, when you say this is it. And he shared with me that when he finished law school, it was already his intention to then go to Harvard to get a master's in public administration. So he did. So while he was there, though, he decided to take 2 courses at MIT. One of the 2 courses, his first day, the first day that he went to class, he went up to the professor. He got this idea, this divine idea, right? We hear it, but do we act on it? He went up to the professor and he said, will you write a letter of reference for me? And the professor said, I don't know you. And he said, however, if you do well in the class, I will write a reference for you. And so he shared that at the end of the class, the professor wrote a reference, helped him with his resume, and hand-delivered this to someone who was director of Fannie Mae, the federal housing thing, federal mortgage thing, and he got his first job. So to me, it also means that with divine order, we may get the ideas, but just like we know with one of our 5 unity principles, is it okay just to get the idea? What do we have to do? Yeah, got to do the work, right? You know, it's like people say, it'll happen in divine order. And they just wait. It's like they expect the lightning to strike, right? We have to do the work. So we have to, in our thoughts, it has to be in alignment, because that's what that divine order is. It's about coming into alignment with that spiritual truth that is within us. Coming into alignment, releasing the fear, the sense of scarcity, the sense of I got to, the urgency, and letting it flow. Have you ever tried to do something and you said, this is what I want to do, and you keep pushing and you keep pushing, and it just doesn't happen, and it becomes stressful, and you become like, I can't do this? And then have you also then just said, let me stop and be still, and all of a sudden it just flows? You know, I've been, in the ministerial school, which I've mentioned before, graduating, ordaining all June 1st, got my airline ticket. But part of my internship was to plant a vibrant virtual spiritual ministry focused on unity. And in sitting and doing this, in prayer and meditation, which we also trust and believe in unity, because that's when we are really going into that space and we're hearing and we're connecting. I got the idea of establishing a virtual spiritual community that could be open to anyone from all paths, but with a unity focus, just to share the tools that we have. And so it was working, and then the title came up, the Spiritual Cafe at the South Jersey Shore, Unity. And then I was trying to do the website, and, I got Wix, and, and I'm can deal with technology, and I'll go on YouTube, and I'm learning, and I'm doing, and I got it, but it just still didn't feel right, and I felt frustrated, and is this ever gonna go live? And I sat in quiet. I sat and was still. And I heard the voice tell me, you don't have to do everything yourself. And then I was like, yeah, but I already tried to find a company that would do it, and then they just wanted to do it, and I want to know how to do it, and I work with them. And it said, listen. And I released that I had to do it all myself. And then I heard the name of a person who was always most frequently around me. But not only did I hear the name, I sent a text. And I said, do you know anyone who could help me just with the finishing touches on doing this? And she said, I can. And she did. And last Sunday, this went live. And it was like, wow. But it only did it because I listened to the voice. And I trusted in the voice. And it was in divine order. There's so many examples that I could use, and I'm sure that many of you could also think about how things have worked within your life. Psalm 37, verse 23, ordered steps. The steps of a righteous person are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in their way. Now, once again, when we look at some of the meaning that we can use, so the Lord for us is about divine mind. It's about God. It's about divine law. And for us, in unity, we see God and Lord as being principle and being spirit and being all present. And a righteous person is a right-thinking person. And so that's all of us when we are aligning our consciousness with that truth that is within us. So it doesn't mean it's a certain type of person or caste of person or whatever, but it's about all of us when we're staying in alignment. And when it says we'll order our steps, we'll order our decisions, our actions, and our directions. So we know the divine order, it's not forced, and it unfolds naturally with consciousness when we align our consciousness with truth. Even Charles Fillmore, as I mentioned, who's co-founder of Unity, said divine order is the first law of the universe. Even if you read the Bible and you see what in Genesis, everything came in time, right order, right? This was established, that was established, etc. And then finally, just looking at Proverbs, the 4th chapter, 25th verse, says, let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. Have there been times when you have sought and you have gotten that answer of what to do and you begin to do it, but then you get distracted? Either what? Sometimes you ever self-sabotage yourself? You ever hear that little voice? You can't do that, or it's not time, or you don't have the resources. You ever do that? Well, what we're hearing here is stay straight, stay steady, stay in alignment with consciousness. You ever have even other people, if you go and share what you plan to do, like, oh, that's all right, I don't know. Keep your gaze steady. Keep your consciousness steady within you. And always know that divine order is benevolent, and it's always there. So let's take a moment and let's get still and get quiet, going to our own inner chambers as we enter into a brief meditation. So let's just breathe in and exhale. And breathe in again and exhale. And if you feel comfortable in doing so, closing your eyes or lowering your gaze. Sitting and feeling the chair or whatever you're sitting on or laying upon, supporting your body. And if you're sitting with your feet squarely on the earth. And then begin to envision within your heart space the light that is you. You may even choose to put your hand on that space. And do you see that as you look at it, it actually begins to get brighter? It gets fuller and it grows. And as it does, feel it illuminating and going from your inside up through to your head. And every place that it goes, it relaxes. Any stress, any tension, and any thoughts, they just fly away. And as it expands and goes out through your arms and all of your limbs and your torso, you feel relaxation. You feel at peace. And you know you are at home. How wonderful it is to connect with this light, which is your true self, which is your divinity, your connection with God, with Spirit. And notice, when you give it the attention it deserves, it gets even brighter. So now as we continue to make our acquaintance and reacquaintance with this light, let's think about the powers we have that are right within it. Our power of discernment, our ability with that discernment to determine, am I following divine order, or is it my ego? With this discernment, we also have our powers of wisdom, our powers of faith, our powers of love. With our power of love, we're looking for harmony and for unity. So that which I'm seeking in divine order, am I doing it to expand love? If I am not, I change my consciousness to that which is in alignment with truth. Take a moment and bring into this heart space something you may have been working on or are working on, and place it into this light and let it illuminate for you how divine order has and can work in your life. And breathe into this for a moment, aligning your mind, your thoughts, your being into your spiritual consciousness and your Christ consciousness. Know that as you align yourself with your truth, anything you need the answer to, the answer is already there. Divine order is already there. You need only to be still, to listen, to use your power of discernment, and to take the actions that are presented before you. It is one of the greatest gifts we have, that we have inherited as children of God, Spirit, made in the image of the Creator. Let's choose to use it.
Within me now is guidance for the day, and wisdom comes with a light to lead the way. I'll follow where my highest truth resides, and safely harbor there I will abide. Within me now is faith steadfast and sure, and on the rock of truth I stand secure. I believe in what I know is my design, and hand in hand I walk with humankind. Within me now I ride the wave of peace, and steady streams of blissful joy and peace. I bathe in all the love God has for me.
So within me now, all I need is there, our greatest, greatest gift. So for our divine order, let's take that time to go within. Divine order comes from the inside and manifests on the outside. And for that, we are grateful. Amen. Okay. And I also want to give a special welcome. We have a little baby. We have a nice young lady with us, too. We are so blessed today. She is. We got everybody. We got the doggy. We got all of them. So good. So very good. So now we will, if you'll join me with our affirmation of abundance, which you will find in the program. And first we will say it as written, and together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. And if we will now say it in plural togetherness of divine love through us, blesses and multiplies all that we give and all that we receive. And we know that with these blessings, that it helps to support the work of Unity Church of Christ and the community at large through all of the unity teachings and spiritual teachings, to provide these tools that everyone may be aware of the power that they have to live their best lives. And so it is. And for those who may wish to leave a token of their abundance, there is a box in the back that's sitting back there that can be done. And so then now we will be singing I Choose Love, and followed by the prayer for protection. And I want to also say we're so appreciative of our singers here today, and also especially Missy is not feeling well today. So Missy, we're really glad you were able to rest and take care of yourself. And thank you, ladies. Miss Kia, come on up. Okay.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One tie that binds us that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One loving family, sharing one son. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us, let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.
I choose love. And so if you will join me in saying our prayer for protection, it's also right in our bulletin. And together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and where God is, all is well. And I see you going forth this week knowing that all is in divine order, and the divine order is when we align our thoughts with the Spirit within the greatest gift we have, our oneness with God, divine, and Spirit. Have a wonderful and blessed week.
Making a mess of things is getting old. I'm tired of cleaning up, if truth be told. Life could be easier, I know it could. Stop my agonizing, overanalyzing, seek my highest good. I'll trust my intuition, my inner guiding course. Release my inhibition, tune and just listen, follow its wise course. It's more than just a compass, more than meets the eye. It's like a shield surrounds me, not a thing can harm me. I will be alright when I trust my intuition. I've been here before, right back at square one. All the progress made has just come undone. And I just wonder now where I would be if I paid some more attention to perfect sense and wisdom. Let the truth inside me lead. I trust my intuition, my inner guiding source. Release my inhibition, tune in and just listen, follow its wise course. It's more than just a compass, more than meets the eye. It's like a shield surrounds me, not a thing can harm me. I will be alright. I trust my intuition. Wouldn't it be nice to more than just survive, to live my life authentically, more victoriously? I'll trust my intuition, my inner guiding source. Release my inhibition to